The day my marriage ended, I didn't cry, scream, or beg. I simply picked up the small cardboard box holding the last pieces of my life, walked out of the courthouse under the bright afternoon sun, and accepted that sometimes the people you love the most become strangers overnight. I believed I had lost everything that mattered, but I had no idea that within minutes, a sleek black limousine would stop beside me and change the course of my life forever. Sometimes, the greatest blessings arrive only after life has taken away everything you thought you needed. Before we begin, if you believe kindness always finds its way back and that everyone deserves a second chance, please like this video, leave a comment, share it with someone you care about, and subscribe to Heartline Stories. Your support helps us bring more emotional stories like this to life. My name was Rowan Mercer, and for nearly 12 years I believed hard work could solve every problem. I worked long hours repairing industrial machinery, often leaving before sunrise and returning home long after dark. My hands were always covered in grease, my back constantly ached, but every exhausting day felt worthwhile because I believed I was building a secure future for my wife, Celine. I missed vacations, skipped birthdays, and postponed dreams because I wanted us to have a better tomorrow. Unfortunately, tomorrow never came. As the years passed, financial struggles grew heavier. Unexpected medical bills for my late father, rising rent, and endless expenses slowly consumed our savings. The warmth inside our home faded with every unpaid bill. Silence replaced laughter, and disappointment settled into every corner of our apartment. I kept believing things would improve if I simply worked harder, but love cannot survive forever when hope quietly disappears. The divorce papers arrived without warning. Reading my own name on those documents felt unreal, as if I were watching another man's life collapse. I didn't argue or fight because I could already see that her heart had left long before the paperwork arrived. On that warm afternoon outside the courthouse, I carried nothing except a few clothes, old photographs, and memories too painful to hold on to. The city bustled around me while I stood alone on the sidewalk, invisible among thousands of strangers. Businesspeople hurried past with determined expressions. Street vendors smiled at customers. Children laughed while chasing pigeons across the square. Life continued as though my world had not just fallen apart. Then it happened. A polished black limousine rolled quietly to the curb beside me. Its glossy surface reflected the bright blue sky as if untouched by dust or hardship. The driver stepped out wearing an immaculate suit and respectfully asked for Rowan Mercer. Confused and convinced there had been some mistake, I admitted my identity. The driver handed me a cream-colored envelope with my name written in elegant handwriting. Inside was a short message inviting me to meet someone who had been searching for me for many years. Although every instinct told me to walk away, curiosity overcame fear. With nothing left to lose, I climbed into the limousine. The luxurious interior felt like another world. Soft leather seats, polished wood panels, and complete silence surrounded me. As the city disappeared behind tinted windows, I wondered whether this strange moment was real or simply my exhausted imagination trying to escape heartbreak. The limousine eventually arrived at a magnificent estate overlooking peaceful green hills. Standing at the entrance was an elderly gentleman named Alistair Vaughan, one of the country's most respected entrepreneurs and philanthropists. His silver hair and calm smile carried both wisdom and quiet sadness. Before I could ask why I had been brought there, he welcomed me as though we had known each other forever. Years earlier, while working late one rainy evening, I had unknowingly saved a stranger after pulling him from a terrible highway accident. I stayed beside him until emergency services arrived, donated blood when doctors urgently needed a matching type, and quietly left the hospital before anyone learned my name. I never expected gratitude. Helping someone simply felt like the right thing to do. That stranger had been Alistair Vaughan. For years he searched for the man who had saved his life. Records had been incomplete, witnesses had disappeared, and only recently had a retired police officer connected the final pieces together. The day my marriage ended happened to be the very day Alistair finally found me. Listening to his story, emotions I had buried all afternoon finally surfaced. For the first time since signing those divorce papers, someone looked at me not as a failure but as a person whose kindness had mattered. Alistair explained that wealth had brought him success but never genuine peace. His own children cared more about inheritance than family. Watching me sacrifice everything years earlier for a complete stranger reminded him that true character could never be purchased. Instead of offering charity, he offered something far more valuable: trust. He invited me to help lead the charitable foundation he had built over decades, supporting struggling families, veterans, students, and people rebuilding their lives after devastating losses. He believed someone who understood hardship could serve others with compassion impossible to teach in business schools. The following months transformed me in ways money never could. I visited shelters, funded scholarships, repaired community centers, and listened to countless stories from people who believed their lives had no hope left. Every handshake, every grateful smile, and every child given a better opportunity reminded me that losing one chapter had allowed another, far more meaningful one to begin. The scars from my divorce did not disappear overnight. Some evenings I still remembered the home I once dreamed of building. But slowly, those painful memories stopped controlling my future. I discovered that self-worth should never depend on someone else's decision to stay or leave. One afternoon, while opening a new vocational training center funded by the foundation, I looked across the crowd and realized something remarkable. Hundreds of people were smiling because one simple act of kindness years ago had created a chain of events none of us could have imagined. A single decision made on a rainy highway had eventually given thousands of strangers a brighter future. Life has an extraordinary way of rewarding kindness, though rarely according to our own timetable. Sometimes the reward isn't immediate. Sometimes it arrives only after heartbreak has cleared the path for something greater. If you've ever been abandoned, underestimated, or forced to start over, remember Rowan's journey. Your hardest day may not be the end of your story. It might simply be the moment life begins leading you toward the future you were always meant to find. If this story touched your heart, please take a moment to like this video, leave a heartfelt comment, share it with your friends and family, and subscribe to Heartline Stories. Your support encourages us to keep sharing stories that inspire hope and kindness around the world. Special request: comment below with the words, "Kindness always comes back," if you believe that even the smallest good deed can change someone's life forever. As the evening sun painted the sky with golden light, Rowan stood outside the foundation headquarters, no longer thinking about the courthouse where he believed everything had ended. Instead, he smiled quietly, understanding a lesson many people spend a lifetime learning. Sometimes losing the life you planned is the only way to discover the life you were truly meant to live. The limousine that stopped beside him that ordinary afternoon wasn't simply carrying a billionaire. It was carrying proof that hope often arrives when we have completely stopped expecting it, and that the greatest miracles are reserved for those who continue choosing kindness, even when life has given them every reason not to.